Thank you so much for joining our 14th Balancy webinar. We are very happy to have you with us today. To start it off, if you would like, feel free to drop a quick note in the chat and let us know where you're connecting from. It's always nice to see how global the room is, and it helps us to make sure that the chat is working properly. As we go, you're very welcome to share questions or reflections in the chat. We will bring them into the conversation where it feels natural. To set the tone, today's session looks closely at real LiveOps decisions in the early days of Gossip Harbor and what they reveal about pacing, player motivation, and monetization in practice. Here is how today will flow. First, I'll briefly ground us in the market context, where Gossip Harbor sits today based on AppMagic data. Then we will move into the main part of the session, a deconstruction of the first week of gameplay, focusing on LiveOps, monetization logic, and event cadence. And we will close with a short wrap-up. Before we begin, a quick note for those joining a Balancy webinar for the first time. First of all, welcome, and a little bit about the platform. Balancy is a live ops and monetization workspace designed to help teams run events, offers, and experiments with more consistency and less friction. Over the past year, we focused heavily on making live ops easier to scale, especially for studios managing multiple titles. That includes a visual UI builder for configuring offers and events without shipping new builds, reusable LiveOps templates inspired by widely adopted puzzle and hybrid patterns, and a new publisher account workspace for organizing multiple games under one roof. So that's the context, and now let's move into today's discussion. I'm Antonina Belova, Growth and Partnerships at Balancy, and I'll be your host today. And joining me is Michael Khripin, our product owner at Balancy. Michael previously worked at Nexters and Wargaming, operated a live game generating around $20 million per month, and has supported more than 50 studios with live ops strategy. Michael, great to have you. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you there. Thank you.
Before we zoom into mechanics, I want to quickly anchor us in where Gossip Harbor sits in the market. Based on AppMagic data, Gossip Harbor is competing in a very crowded merge adventure space, a genre where differentiation doesn't come from core mechanics anymore, but from LiveOps execution, cadence, and monetization layering. Since launching in June 2022, Gossip Harbor has generated over 720 million in lifetime in-app purchases revenue, and in October 2025, it hit roughly 62 million in monthly in-app purchases, which is the highest monthly figure in the Merge 2 genre has recorded so far. Their event cadence evolved dramatically from roughly 20 monthly events early on to nearly 100 events per month by late 2025. Two major expansion phases drove that, one in Q2 to Q3 in 2024, and the bigger one in third to fourth quarter of 2025. That's why this title is interesting to analyze for us, not because it reinvents the genre, but because it shows how aggressively LiveOps is being used from day one. So with that in mind, let's start the deconstruction. Let's start with the first impression. Looking at the first 10 levels, what immediately stands out is that LiveOps doesn't wait. You see visible bonuses, shop access, and progression nudges almost right away. This isn't the classic approach of let players settle in first. The game starts shaping behavior from the very first session. So, Michael, when you look at these early signals, the starter bonus, the way level ups are handled, the early shop, what kind of live ops philosophy do you think the team is committing to here? Oh, Michael, please enable your microphone. Or oh yeah, go ahead.
Yep,
Sorry.
thank you so much. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes,
Uh,
perfectly.
so, in the first few levels, Gossip Harbor immediately signals that uh, LiveOps is not a late game layer. It's part of the core experience from day one. The starter bonus is always visible, tied to level ups and constantly nudging the player forward. That's a strong short-term motivation loop, especially for a merge game where long-term goals can otherwise feel vague. What's interesting is the contrast between visible and hidden rewards. The starter bonus is surfaced aggressively. It's on main screen always, while standard level up rewards are tucked away in the profile with no reminders. You just have to open your profile to see it there. And additionally, you need to tap on the reward to see the actual content in the tooltip. This tells us a lot about prioritization. The designers want players focused on media guided objectives rather than abstract progression value. There is also an open question here um, that's worth calling out. The bonus is labeled starter, yet it persists well beyond onboarding. You will play for a week or 10 days, depending on your um, speed and your time. Uh, but for every level, they will show this starter bonus locked for the next one. I honestly don't know when it will finish or whether it will finish at all. Um, so that's that suggests either a soft onboarding that stretches over many days or a reluctance to remove a crutch once it proves effective. Uh, both interpretations actually say something about how carefully and the early uh, funnel is managed.
Mhm. Yes, yes, these are great hypotheses. We can't confirm them right now, but yeah, those are those are some great insights. So, moving on to the next point, let's talk about monetization specifically, how early it starts. So, what we see here isn't a single starter pack, and that's it. It's a sequence, a higher priced offer, followed by a cheaper one, then the same offer reshaped, repriced, and repeated. From the outside, this could look messy, but when you slow it down, it feels very intentional. So, Michael, how do you read this progression? What is the game actually trying to learn about the player in this first monetization steps, and where does this approach become risky?
Hmm. The early monetization strategy is clearly deliberate and sequential. First, the game presents a relatively expensive starter pack, 5.99, then quickly follows up with a much cheaper, short-lived offer for 1.99.
Mhm.
When that expires, it doesn't stop. It reshapes price and value combinations repeatedly. So it offers the same but twice cheaper and with a less amount of hard currency. And this isn't randomness, it's behavioral testing. What's smart here is that nothing is forced. There are no hard paywalls, no aggressive blocks. Instead, the system quietly probes what the player reacts to: price, content, urgency, or perceived value. If the player ignores one offer, the game doesn't punish him. It simply tries a different angle. If I ignore high price, it will try lower price. If I ignore the content, it will try another combination of items. The potential downside is subtle but important. If a player starts noticing the pattern, cheaper offer, then adjusted cheaper, then same offer cycle, it can feel less like generosity and more like negotiation. This approach works best when invisible. Once it's seen, trust can be lost, actually.
Mhm. All right. So let's shift from offers to events. Something interesting happens very early. Players start seeing events before they can play them. Locked events, long countdowns, level gates, all acting um, as future promises. So progression stops being abstract. Um, it becomes if I just reach level 7, something new opens. Michael, from a LiveOps design perspective, how effective is this use of events as progression drivers rather than just engagement layers?
Well, events here not only entertain, they pull players forward. Um, they are not engagement drivers, but also like directional tools. Locked events, like the Moltopia trip, for example, act as future promises, clearly communicating. Get to level X and something new opens. This transforms leveling into a purpose-driven activity rather than just pure grind. Mm, the use of long countdowns before unlock is particularly effective. Even when players can't access the event yet, they are already mentally interested in it. It creates anticipation without immediate pressure, which is a fine balance to strike early on. Um, at the same time, stacking too many upcoming promises can overwhelm your players. When everything is coming soon, you know, it's harder to understand what actually matters right now. The design walks a thin line between motivation and noise, and whether it's succeeds depends heavily on player tolerance. If I will see too many coming soons, I will probably lose interest in the long run.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, it
that's all.
might feel a bit overwhelming if
Yeah.
there's too much going on. So, moving on to the next slide. By the time a player reaches level 6 or 7, the game is already uh, running multiple events in parallel with very different duration. From a live ops planning standpoint, this looks strong. There is always something active, but from a player's point of view, it can feel very different, especially when you enter an event late and the best rewards are already out of reach. Michael, how do you evaluate this cadence? Where does it support retention and where does it start working against the early experience?
Yeah, as you mentioned, by level 6 or maybe 7, the player is already juggling multiple events with different durations and mechanics. There are short progression events, weekly structures, long-running collections, and limited time side locations. From a live ops dashboard perspective, this looks excellent. There's always something extra. From the player's perspective, it's more complicated actually. In Entering a 7-day event late with no chance to reaching the final reward feels discouraging,
Mhm.
even if intermediate rewards exist. Um, for example, when I started to play, I started in the middle of the week, and some weekly event was already in the middle, and I saw that I just have no chance to complete it
Mhm.
properly. Structurally, the event is sound, but emotionally, the first impression is weak. Um, this cadence clearly favored the entertained players over newcomers. It assumes regular logins and familiarity with the system. That's not inherently wrong, but um, it's a conscious trade-off. Strong midterm engagement at the cost of some early frustration, because with this system, early players, new players are mostly frustrated, I would say, with this overload.
Mhm. Yes, I tend to agree. So, a lot of the events we see here are clearly inspired by or directly copied from top grossing titles like Royal Match. And copying isn't the issue, everyone does it. The question is whether those mechanics survive the translation into a Merge 2 economy. Michael, when you look at the events like Water Rival Race or like a river, where does this borrowing work, and where does the underlying economy uh, changes the rules of fairness, in your opinion?
Well, borrowing from successful games like Royal Match is not a problem in itself. Uh, it's industry standards right now, as I would say, and I said it before in our webinars. The real question is whether the borrowed mechanics are compatible with the game's core loop. In Gossip Harbor, that compatibility is sometimes inconsistent. A good example is Water Rival Race. In Royal Match, it's Sky Race. Progress is skill and session based. More levels cleared means just more contribution. In Gossip Harbor, there are, there are no levels. Progress is energy gated. You are playing on the same board, which shifts competition toward spending. The result feels closer to pay to win, even if unintentionally done so. Um, and this highlights a common LiveOps mistake, I would say, copying structure without rebalancing economy. That feels fair and exciting in one genre can feel explorative in another if the underlying constraints differ. So, um, getting back to the water rival race, uh, it asks to collect items, uh, but you don't have these milestones um, with finished levels. So you just constantly grind them, and everything depends on how much energy you have. You can very quickly spend all the energy and just stop progressing.
Mhm.
In Royal Match, the same structure, for example, feels completely different. Levels are pretty easy to complete, actually, and you just finish them one by one, just boom, 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 boom. And the event counts winning, just won or not. You are not collecting items. So the visually it looks the same, but economically it feels very, very different, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Michael, we've got a question here. I'll bring out on the screen from Ilya.
Sure.
What is your recommendation for managing early players' frustration by board mechanics toolkit, segmentation, or constant A/B testing?
Well, segmentation and constant A/B testing is must have. You never stop doing that. Uh, so I would say that you just have to start from something, just to begin collecting data. And when you collect enough, you start analyzing it, and then the loop like closes. Um, I would always recommend using big data and analytics and A/B testing to find this sweet spot when there is not too many and not too few. Um, so yeah,
Mhm.
segmentation, constant A/B testing, you're totally correct. We use them every day.
All right. Hope we addressed your question, Ilya. And please don't forget to add more in the group chat, and we will move on to the next slide. So, at a certain point around level 9, the UI starts telling its own story, multiple counters, icons, progress trackers, all competing for attention on the same board. It changes how readable and playable the core loop feels. Michael, based on your experience, is this a polish problem or a structural limit of layering too much LiveOps onto a merge 2 board?
I would say it's clearly a structural problem. At some point, LiveOps just outgrows the screen here. Um, UI starts to show real strain, multiple events, counters, icons, and progress bars just pile onto the main board, pushing core gameplay elements, like the order character. You can see it in the screenshot. This isn't just the cosmetic issue; it affects readability and focus. Um, the deeper problem is structural. Merge 2 games were not originally designed to show this many parallel systems at once. As LiveOps layers grow, um, the UI becomes the bottleneck. There's simply no space left to communicate everything clearly. Um, Comparing to Royal Match, for example, when you play the level, you never see all these items that you are collecting in the process. You see them only after the level is completed and you are back to the main screen. Then these items appear just out of nowhere and flying to the icons of the events. And then you can go there and track your progress. Here, you see all these counters and how many of each item you will get if you complete the order, and it just is overwhelming.
Mhm.
This is a challenge many teams face as games mature. LiveOps scales faster than interface design, and without deliberate pruning or hierarchy, the experience becomes cluttered, even if the systems themselves are well designed. So be careful when you when you adopt something from other games, from different genre, as I was saying on the previous slide, but not about the balance or mechanic itself, but even on the UI level. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
that, that's
Yeah, so up until this point, monetization has been relatively soft. Price testing, value testing, short offers. And then we hit the level 9 super saver. 1 hour heavy discount and never coming back. Michael, how do you see this moment in the funnel? Is this the natural peak of conversion pressure or a line that risks being crossed?
mm, I would say this is the moment they stop asking nicely. You know, when I saw this offer with uh, very short period. Um, First, it appears at level 9, yeah. Level 9 Super Saver, it's called. Later, there was level 10 Super Saver, so they didn't stop there. Um, and this one is a textbook example of conversion escalation. After experimenting with price and value, um, with the previously mentioned offers, the game just switches tactic. Just heavy discount, very short timer, just 1 hour, um, and never again promise. Like one time offer. This is pure formal design. Uh, Used sparingly, this can be extremely effective, especially once players are emotionally invested. By level 9, the game is confident enough in retention to apply this pressure without feeling immediate churn, because it wasn't the first day or even second day I was playing. It's like fifth or sixth day, so they know I'm staying. The risk, of course, is player regret. One-time offers can convert well, but they can also damage long-term trust if players feels cornered, you know, either now or never. This approach assumes the lifetime value of site overweighs that risk, so they for sure have data um, supporting this decision. Always have data to support your decisions.
Yes.
We have a question
Yes,
from Antonina.
I'm gonna return to the previous slide because I think it's related to our to what we discussed before. So the questions from Nikolai, thank you. Does this actually matter in terms of metrics and revenue? I am trying to, yeah.
Um, uh, I think does such a crowded UI influence metrics and if I understood this correctly, for me, yes. I'm such a person that this overloaded UI with tons of tiny elements, it just distracts me so much. It makes the game so uncomfortable for me. So I just feel less desire to play. Probably in my case, it would influence metrics such as retention and mm, revenue at the end. So yeah, I would say yes, but again, always check the data to support your decision. Probably they had some tests, A/B tests, and probably they found this like soft spot. Maybe they understood and proven that it's okay. So they are good with this. But I'm talking from just players' standpoint, how I felt, and this is how I felt. That was too much. for me at this screen.
Michael, Nikolai is clarifying. I mean, seeing the objects you get in real time versus at the end of the level.
Well, you don't get them here at real time, and it's not the level. You just complete one order after another. Yes, you see these numbers adds up, but uh, anyway, you have to leave the board, go outside, and check every event that is going on there, just to see your progress. So it's not the loop as between the main screen and the level as in match three, as in Royal Match again. When you always get back to the main screen and you always see that progress. So they use this like as a milestone. So they will not show everything during the level. Here, you can stay on board forever. You're just
Mhm,
crunching these orders one after another, and so they have to show these items and counters all the time. So you will track your progress here.
mhm.
Yep.
We've got some more questions I'm going to bring on the screen. So, Mustafa is asking, thank you, Mustafa, for the question. Do you think a repeated and predictable live ops calendar is better than a totally randomly ordered calendar? In other words, is it good that the user knows what is to come?
Oh, that's very big question, I would say. Um, I worked on the project that was keeping its schedule in secret, and there were a part of the audience wished heavily wished to know the schedule in advance. They even tried to hack the game to get to the configs and know this schedule in advance. Some of them even succeeded and they published these schedules online. Um, I've seen other games that show the schedule inside the game, just openly. Um, it's just two parties. One thing that it's good to keep it as secret because it forces players to come back every day just to check if something new has started.
Mhm,
So there will be always an element of surprise for them, and they feel that every day game has something new to give to them. Other players are like different in just psychology. They don't like surprises. They want to plan ahead.
mhm,
They like this stability. They like knowing what's going on. And these players feel uncomfortable when everything is a surprise. And for these players, um, it leads to skip a day or two. So they are lowering retention numbers. So their retention is kind of chaotic. If they know the schedule, they will come back only when something interested interesting to them will happen, and
mhm,
they can skip a day or even a week if they know that an event will start in a week. So mm, there is no correct answer to your question, unfortunately. Both systems work. They just aimed to different psycho types of players. If you know your audience well, You should know what they like and what they don't like. If majority of your audience likes knowing the schedule in advance, you probably better do this.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's the
Thanks,
matter of
well, yes, that's very
experience.
good insight. Thank you. Mustafa, I hope we answered your question. And moving to another one from Luigi. Anticipation of an event. This can be a driver for player to come back the day after or when the event they like the most will start. But could it also push players to stock up on their currency before their favorite event starts or play less during an event they are not interested in?
Yes, for sure. It it it's not could, it will, because again, when I was working on the project which kept its schedule as a secret, the main complaint from the players was that they don't know in advance, and they have no way to plan their ex like expenses, you know? But they didn't know whether they should accumulate some hard currency before some event will start, or they just spend it now immediately. And they were complaining when something interested something interesting has started today, and they have spent everything yesterday. It was a huge frustration for them, but it was good in terms of revenue for the company because they had to buy these resources again if they
Yes.
already spent them yesterday. So it's kind of trade-off. They will complain for sure, but they will buy it again. So it depends on how you run your business.
Yes. And one more question from Veronique. For me as a player, Gossip Harbor hit the sweet spot with LiveOps mid last year. Now it feels like too much. What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, yeah, there always will be a spot when it will start feeling too much, especially when games are so many years old. Um, when game evolves for many years, it starts feeling for old players, not for the new players, obviously. So you have to pay a lot of attention to player onboarding when they onboard to such an old game. Um, it can be frustrating even if you are an old player, but there is your personal limit on the amount of what's going on. I I think again there is no single right answer to that. They just know that they are constantly monitoring analytics and statistics, how the game behaves, like on daily basis. If some events will start underperforming, they will know that people probably get tired of them. Maybe they are too old school now. Maybe they will switch them off. Maybe they will just substitute them with something else. This will mean that game evolves and growing and is alive. Actually, live ops has its in its definition. The game is live. It can change. Some events can disappear forever because they players just don't play them anymore. So yeah.
Mhm. Yes. We've got many questions today, so I'm
Yeah,
thinking
shoot, please. Yeah.
let's go. So, thank you, Veronique. Hope we answered your question. Now, on to Adrian. Where can you be sure that your core gameplay is good enough for live ops to be effective?
Ooh, nice one. Uh, First of all, you always have these like must-have metrics that you have to prove first during soft launch. So you will be sure that your game is viable. Um, if you don't have a core gameplay that produces uh, at least a baseline metrics for retention, for revenue, you will obviously not uh, working on live ops until you fix it. Uh, so the core idea is that your game should be profitable without live ops on top of it. So core gameplay must provide the basic level of activities and economics and core loop and everything. So it will survive even if you will not run any live ops events or offers or something. These days, live ops is everywhere. It's like by the book, like it's everywhere. So it's very hard to separate whether it's live ops or a core loop.
Mhm.
Uh, but the concept of this is you introduce live ops only when the baseline is there. If you are sure that the game survives, even if you will not do any live ops, then you put something on top of it. This is my vision. You cannot fix bad core loop by good live ops. There will be no good live ops with bad core loop.
Mhm.
So core loop is the must.
Yes. Thank you, Michael. And Adrian, let us know if you have any more questions. Now to Ashley. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. When planning a new live ops mechanic for the game, what does the design process look like? How do you decide what kind of live ops mechanic to include? Do you A B test the live ops mechanics or do you just push them and make post event analysis?
You always analyze the market. Uh, these days, completely new and unexpected live ops mechanics are such a rare thing that probably you've seen the same thing already in another game many times. So, in most cases, you will have data even before you start thinking of implementing the same thing. So, you just play other games and see how it works or not, and then you decide whether to try uh, at your game or not. Uh, and the next steps are, yeah, pretty obvious. First you create a prototype internally. You play it in the team. You check if it works or not. Then you decide to test it. And usually the good way, I would say, the best practice for some new LiveOps mechanics is to introduce it first as a uh, short time, short term LiveOps event. So if um, you don't launch it as a like new everyday activity. You just launch it one time and give you some time to analyze it. The LiveOps is the best way, like the best playground to do so, because LiveOps by nature is based on time limited events. You always have the way to stop. If something doesn't work, you just stop it. You wait until it will stop by the schedule, like 3 days, and that's it, safe spot, and then you analyze it. If you see that players like it, you will consider repeating it, like in a week or every month or something like that. Uh, and with each iteration, you just make it better and better and better. This is the way. This is like 99% of LiveOps teams work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Before we move to Andrew's question, we have 15 minutes left. We are
Mhm.
almost there with the completing our deconstruct of Gossip Harbor. So we'll just go through the last slides and go over the questions.
Yeah, we have a couple of slides. Let's go through them and then get back to Q&A, and it will be just Q&A. Okay.
Yes, let's do that.
Mhm.
Um, so, with everything else feeling quite dense, the season pass almost feels calm in the game. Two premium tiers, clear progression, XP tied directly to core actions, and even infinite rewards at the end. It is noticeably cleaner than many other systems we've discussed. Michael, why do you think this works so well here? And what did they get right with the season pass that feels more fragile elsewhere in the game?
Yeah, I would say the season pass here is surprisingly elegant. It stands out as one of the cleanest systems in the game, offering both a regular premium track and a super version. Allows for a better price discrimination and without fragmenting content. Players um, self-select based on commitment and budget. They have choice. The super track does more than giving extra rewards. It accelerates progress and boosts XP gain. So you have a choice of just unlocking the premium track, and you just continue from level one. But if you buy super version, it will give you a portion of season pass XP, so it will just send you to the middle. I don't know. I didn't calculate, but it will definitely skip like 10 levels probably or 15 levels of it. So just immediately. This is a huge bonus. Um, and it's important because it changes how the player experiences the entire season, not just the reward screen. It solves the problem which I talked about before. When you are the new player and some weekly event, for example, is unlocked by the level, but you are already in the middle. In other cases, there is no way to fix it. So you know you are behind, and you will have to wait until the next iteration to start from day one. With Season Pass, it helps you to boost your progress by buying this super track. You know that even if you joined in the middle, you can jump into the middle just by buying the super track.
Mhm.
Uh, the infinite reward at the end is also a smart touch. It's actually how it's done in Royal Match as well. It prevents the pass from ending emotionally and keeps highly engaged players motivated even after completing all levels. You know that you are like forever on the last level, and you will have these repetitive rewards over and over until the season passes over by the calendar. And what I personally liked is how they improved this design, which is pretty standard. Again, it's just almost copied from Royal Match, but they added these daily quests inside it. If you see it at the bottom of the screen, they have additional layer on top of it. So you not just farm the XP and progress. You have the way to progress faster if you will complete these daily quests in addition. I liked it.
Mhm.
Really smart.
And moving on to our final slide, um, we I want to touch on a few decisions that feel unconventional. Very early cross promotion, requests to scan installed apps, and in contrast, very gentle handling of social account binding. Michael, when you step back and look at these choices together, what do they tell you about how aggressive or confident this team is in their live ops strategy?
I would say two things stand out here. First, very early cross promotion, as soon as day two. So you just started to play, and on the day two, they already promote you three other games. That suggests strong confidence in early retention or a portfolio first mindset of the developer, where exposure matters more than protecting a single title. Second, the request to scan installed apps on your phone to check eligibility for cross-promo rewards for me is highly unusual. I don't know. Please, guys, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen something like this in other games? So they promise to give you the reward if you will play in their other game, but they have to make sure that you are not playing it already. So they are giving you reward for installing the game. And since I was playing as a guest, they don't have my account, so they don't know if I already playing. So they just ask for permission to check through my phone, just to check if I have this app or not. For me, it's like no go. Why
Mhm.
would I give them permission just to dig through my apps on my phone? Um, so I don't know. Have you seen it? Just tell us. Um, well, the rest is classic. Social account binding, it's handled gently and respectfully. They give you a portion of hard currency for connecting with Facebook or whatever. Uh, it's a good reminder that aggressive and soft live ops tactics can coexist. On one side you have something classic, and on one side you just do something that just raises your eyebrows. Um, so yeah,
All right.
that's interesting. That was interesting.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing. We will go over the rest of the questions now, and I would like to let you know that if we don't get a chance to address all the questions, we'll make sure to make a content out of it, maybe answer them on LinkedIn, because we often post on our page. So don't worry, all of them will be addressed. So going,
I'll keep it quick. I'll keep it quick.
yes,
Okay.
going into Andrew's question. In general, when segmenting players by motivation, is it more effective to use different event mechanics, or can the same mechanic serve multiple motivations through reward and pacing adjustments? When a live ops event underperforms, what tends to be the most impactful area to iterate on first? Mechanics, rewards, or monetization?
I would say it's too broad question. I mean, it's a good practice when you're working on LiveOps that every event or mechanic should address multiple metrics at the same time. You never target an event to a single metric. Like this one is for retention only. Always try to have many layers in it. Always work for retention and monetization at the same time. It's just um, it shows your ability to make good design because in most cases it takes some time to develop, and it, this time doesn't differ too much if you develop just uh, targeting one metric or two metrics. For game designers it's a pretty common thing. So uh, always look for more.
Mhm.
Yes, I hope I answered.
Yes. Um, Question from Elizaveta. Is balance rotation a good practice for the recurring events? Say, if there is a specific event that runs every Monday to Wednesday, and to avoid it getting too repetitive and familiar, we change the balance from time to time to target both engagement and monetization inside this event. Additionally, would it be correct to provide easier balance for events targeting new players for a smoother integration into the project?
Yes, I would say for the first part, I would say how I would do it. I wouldn't change like constantly tweaking slightly the same event. I would wait until the point when it clearly underperforms. Like you should have these thresholds, when you understand it started underperforming, like after 1 year, for example, and then you just redesign it, reskin it, redesign it, just to make it feel fresh, not the same with slightly changed numbers, but fresh. This will be um, this will work better from the player's standpoint that they have rotation. And for the second one, uh, yes, of course, for onboarding, you have to be really, really careful because you are playing with fire. You have to be very careful with retention because retention is the king. You have to make sure that players will stay. And when they stay, you can introduce whatever you want because they already like your game and they will play and they will stay. So if you know that you can have some events for onboarding phase only, I think you should consider doing so.
All right. Thank you, Michael. The next question is from Vladislav. Player complaints often contradict actual metrics, but is there a clear understanding of which approach to event scheduling is more profitable, or is it just product specific story? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, they always complain because they always want to play for free and never pay for anything. So it's pretty obvious. So you have to be business oriented here. So um, you just you just gradually build up your LiveOps schedule, adding some more things, finding gaps and trying to fill them with some new events in the middle. Like it's everyday work just for LiveOps product manager. And at some point, you may probably see that some events will start underperform or they don't work as good as you wanted them to in combinations, for example. So you will like probably remove something. Maybe you will um, find out that some combinations work better than others. So yeah, it's product specific. It's um, this is the way how you operate. You're constantly monitoring every event, how it performs or underperforms, all these combinations, all these gaps, all the schedules. Like you have weekly schedules, monthly schedules, quarterly. You can you can plan even for a year upfront. Mm, so just it's just your everyday work.
So, moving to Pavel, what do you think about transferring player progression between similar or identical events that reappear after some time? Can it be effective as a driver of long term retention, for example, or does it cause more harm than good? And it is generally better to start the progression from the beginning each time.
I honestly never saw any transferring of the progress between similar events. Always starting from the beginning each time because events are like short-term thing. You know, they are just to make your life more fun. Um, I never. If you have any examples of such a transferring progress, please let me know. I would be surprised.
All right, on to Veronique, and I have Adrian's question here to just refresh what it was about. Adrian before asked, when can you be sure that your core gameplay is good enough for live ops to
Mm.
be effective? So Veronique is
Yeah.
asking, is it better not to launch with live ops, or if we know the core loop is there from testing, it's worth investing in live ops pre-launch?
Yes, it's worth investing. Sometimes you know your core loop works just from the first prototype. So you will introduce some early stage live ops in soft launch. So you will you will for sure have starter pack. You will have some welcome bonus. You will have like first purchase bonus in the shop or something like that. This is all live ops. But now it's considered like must-have thing without you will not launch without it. But uh, I was mostly talking about the like multi-layered live ops schedule, and there is not a single day without any events, or maybe five of them. So yeah, you never start with this level of difficulty. You always grow up gradually, but something you should have from the very beginning. You when you're launching, when you soft launching, you have to have for sure like starter pack or something just to test monetization, how they feel.
Yes. All right. Before I address Asfar's question, I want to quickly say to Hanfia that yes, this webinar will be available in recording. So if you're registered, you will receive the recording, and we will also publish it shortly on YouTube. Just
Yeah,
so you're not
you
gonna.
can safely go. You will watch
Yes, you can
the
safely go.
No worries. No worries.
So, about as far, what do you think about multiple events with same mechanics but being reskinned, rethemed to feel different every time?
Well, not every time, but we know for sure that some top games use this technique. We actually had a webinar last year. Um, Survival something. I don't know. Uh, no, I cannot remember the title, but you it can easily find this approach in top games when they have three or four different different like themed, let's say, events that have the same core mechanic in it, like progression event with the short leaderboard for collecting some items for core in core gameplay. They just wrap it up in different themes, like repeat them every month or every quarter, different visually, but working the same. It's just the best practice on the market for top games when they have enough content to support this different uh, skins or reskins or whatever. So yeah, yeah, I think it's good. It saves you lots of resources when developing it.
Yes. So, on to art. In your opinion, what are top three live ops events for Gossip Harbor Merge 2 in terms of revenue monetization effect?
Mm, I think it's definitely season pass. It's these like side side location events when you are playing on the different location, different board for a limited time. And these short-term competitive events with leaderboard like this race type thing that urges you to play more and more and more and spend more. They feel like pay to win, and they usually are combined with an offer. So I think these three things are great because one is the really short term. It plays like for a few hours. Another one is for a few days, and the season passes like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So they cover the whole range, whole spectrum, and they work as layers.
Wonderful. Valerie is asking, in addition to Ashley's question about choosing the mechanic for live ops, what new mechanics should we pay attention to in the Q1? Which new mechanics are likely to succeed?
I don't know if they are new or not, but recently we've had this report from
From
AppMagic.
AppMagic, yeah.
Yeah, there were two of them. Like one's puzzle and Sonia. I don't remember
Yes,
which one was.
it was its report for analyzing all of the events mechanics in 2025, the major
Yeah,
ones. And you may find posts about it on our LinkedIn page, but if you go on AppMagic, you can find the full report and you can download it and review it. Yeah, it
yeah,
goes.
and I agree with this. One was the puzzles, really good stuff. I think we will see much more puzzles. And yeah, the second one, I just don't remember. Please check this
Oh,
report.
casino, you mean?
Hmm?
You mean casino genres or?
No, not casino genres.
uh,
The new event types from this report, like next
oh,
two
oh, I see.
things.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Krishna is asking, the only cross app connection I have seen and used is BeatStar with Apple Music to carry over playlist information to get favorite songs info into Beats.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's a new one, but it's kind of. integration. It's not the yeah, it's interesting, but it's not about the portfolio of the same publisher. It's like connection between two different uh, things. Yeah, but that's interesting. Yeah, with Apple Music.
Yes. All right. So, to wrap up today's session, thank you so much for your questions. It was amazing to discuss all the points, to have everything covered. So, thank you for joining us today. The recording will be shared with all of you shortly, as I mentioned. You can follow Balancy on LinkedIn for future webinars and discussions. I will share the link in the chat. And thanks for spending this time with us. And huge thanks to Michael for the insights.
Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
and
you.
see you next time.
See you.
Bye.